Hello and welcome to the Geek's Handbag. I hope you guys are well. Welcome to my review of Doctor Who Series 8, Episode 6, The Caretaker. So, The Caretaker by Gareth Roberts and Stephen Moffat. Gareth Roberts' previous stories, The Shakespeare Code, The Unicorn and the Wasp, The Lodger and Closing Time, are all okay stories, but if I was honest, I wouldn't rate any of them amongst my favourites. But with The Caretaker, I thought we got a really good, fun script, and I really enjoyed it. The pre-title sequence was good again, showing how Clara is struggling to mix her everyday life with Danny Pink with the life she leads with the Doctor, and I thought that worked really well. There was some lovely humour in there. And then we got to the main premise of the story, where the Doctor was undercover at Coal Hill School. And I thought Peter Capaldi was absolutely fantastic in this. It all worked really well. Like many other people, as we were back at Coal Hill School, I was really longing to see a little cameo by Ian Chesterton, as played by William Russell, especially as he was name-checked in The Day of the Doctor, but sadly this wasn't to be. So the Doctor and Danny Pink finally got to meet, and it seems the Doctor really disapproves of Danny, mainly on the fact that he was previously a soldier. Now I'm wondering about this. I'm not quite sure where this has come from, because thinking about it, the Doctor's had a lot of previous history with soldiers, mainly in his third incarnation, where he worked alongside UNIT for a long time. So I'm hoping this gets a bit of an explanation of why the Doctor suddenly has this sort of disapproval against soldiers, because it does seem a little bit out of the blue to me. But I did love the fact that he initially thought that Clara was dating the chap with the bow tie who looked a bit like Matt Smith. I thought that was a really lovely, touching idea. So the idea of the Doctor chasing this maniac killer robot and trying to lure it back to Coal Hill School so he can send it into oblivion worked quite well, I thought. The Scovox Blitzer, this crazy creature, looked pretty good on the whole, at least from the waist up anyway, and was quite convincing as this evil robot, especially when he destroyed that poor policeman at the beginning and you saw the smouldering hands. That was quite gruesome. Why I say from the waist up is because when you saw it running down corridors and things, I did think it looked a bit clunky and very clumsy, It could easily get trapped somewhere. It's a good thing those corridors were really wide. I thought it was nice when Danny burst in and saw the Doctor and Clara, dealing with it. I thought he played that scene really well. Samuel Anderson didn't sort of overplay it, do you know what I mean? He could have really been, what's going on? But I thought he played it nice and subtle and really was just stood there taking it all in and finally realising that, what's going on between the Doctor and Clara, and that worked quite well. The other thing I thought was how big the TARDIS looked when they revealed it behind the curtains on the stage. They were stood next to it. It looked huge. I don't know if it was just a camera angle or what. But yeah, I thought Samuel Anderson really came into his own in this episode. I thought he gave a great performance all round. So the Doctor pulled an invisibility watch out of his bag of tricks this week, something I'd love to get my hands on. And I was a bit worried it was going to be overused, as a sort of plot device to get out of situations, but thankfully it wasn't. In fact, it wasn't used much at all. I like the fact that Danny used it to keep an eye on Clara at the end of the episode, and then he suddenly appeared and does that crazy backflip over the Blitzer. Yeah, it was very over the top, but I still enjoyed it. I thought it looked visually great. I loved it when Danny and the Doctor squared up to each other in the TARDIS as well. I thought both actors gave a fantastic performance in that scene. And I'm finally feeling the chemistry between Clara and Danny as a couple. Obviously previously we've seen a couple of clunky first dates, but now they finally feel like a proper couple. And I'm wondering how much time has passed in between the stories, because they seem very sort of together now, whereas previously we've only sort of seen a few first dates. So, Courtney. Now, I don't know what the deal is with this character, I really don't. Clearly she's not meant to be that likeable, I guess, because she's written as quite an obnoxious, annoying character. But the Doctor clearly liked her, and I did like the scenes between the two of them this week. I thought they were quite fun. I guess the rebel side of Courtney appealed to the Doctor, which is why he took her in the TARDIS for a bit of a spin. But once again, we were treated to some truly awful CGI when the TARDIS was in space and we saw the Scovox Blitzer drifting away. I mean, it just looked terrible, but thankfully it was brief. But yeah, Courtney's obviously going to be in next week's episode, so I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on with that. And then, of course, at the end, we met a new character in the Promised Land, this kind of secretary guy, which made for a nice change. And, of course, we saw a very subdued Missy this week. So overall, I really enjoyed this episode. It's certainly the most family-friendly episode we've had so far in Series 8. I thought it was well directed, it moved along at a good pace, there was lots of nice humour in the script, and I thought Peter, Jenna and Samuel all gave really great performances in it. It was just a lot of fun. Next week's trailer for Kill the Moon looks fantastic. I'm really excited about that, but it's no good for anybody that doesn't like spiders, judging by the trailer. Anyway, yes, overall I'm going to give The Caretaker a score of 8 out of 10. Right guys, this cleaning won't do itself, so I better get on. Please check out geekshandbag.com for all the latest news and videos, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the Facebook page and do say hello on Twitter. Until the next time, take care, bye bye!